Is D.C. prepared in the event of a natural disaster? Several federal agencies are teaming up with D.C. officials for a full-scale disaster drill tomorrow. Millicent West, director of the D.C. Homeland Security and Emergency Management Agency, joined us tonight. Ms. West, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Sean.
The big question here, is D.C. prepared?
Well, we're working to make sure that every agency is working to make sure that all of our capabilities are up to snuff. We're going to test all of our capabilities tomorrow. We're going to be at RFK Stadium. We're going to be at our Emergency Operations Center, making sure that we are ready, making sure that we demonstrate to the residents of the District of Columbia and to the region that, in fact, we are ready for any eventuality that comes our way.
Let me say, over the last few months, our region has experienced a number of different things. There was that earthquake, which was then followed by major traffic jams with people trying to get out of the city. Despite all the designated evacuation routes, it was a mess out there. People were stuck out there for hours. Metro bus, Metro rail were all jammed up. I don't think we've seen anything like that since 9/11. Based on that particular incident, do you think we are prepared?
Well, we have a lot of work to do. As a region, we have a lot of work to do. One of the things that we're working to make sure that we're doing in every jurisdiction in the region is to ensure that everyone understands their own role in preparedness. We're working to make sure that we're educating residents on everything that they need to do to ensure that they're ready for themselves, for their families, and for their own communities. We want to make sure that everybody understands that sometimes evacuation is not the first course of action, and sometimes we want to make sure that folks shelter in place for just a few minutes until we can figure out the best course of action. And then certainly we want to make sure that we get folks to their homes safely. And so sometimes we want for folks to work with our government entities to make sure that we are, in fact, evacuating people as safely as we can, as quickly as we can, and then we can make sure that everybody gets home safely. So sometimes evacuation is not the first course of action, and then once we determine what the best course of action is, we can work together to get people home safely.
Taking into account everything that you just went through, what specific areas will you be focusing on tomorrow?
Several things we'll be focusing on. First of all, we'll be focusing on sheltering, making sure that we are, in fact, preparing our shelters not just to shelter people, but also to shelter pets. We're making sure that we focus on our special needs communities, evacuating facilities that house special needs communities. We're also making sure that we focus on interoperability. We're focusing on making sure that we can communicate cross lines, cross jurisdictionally. Several different disciplines will be working together to make sure that we can talk to each other in the event of an emergency. Even if our communication lines are taken down for whatever reason, we're going to make sure that we can communicate with each other. We're also making sure that we all understand the different codes that are going to be used if in fact there is an emergency, so that we can talk to one another. We're also going to test to make sure that if there is a mass casualty event, that we know exactly what to do. So we're going to be working with the Chief Medical Examiner's Office, of course, with Fire and Emergency Medical Services, to make sure that they know exactly what to do, where to go, and how to get the resources brought to bear that we need to have in place.
A lot of things you're going to be working on tomorrow. No
we
doubt
we
will be watching and waiting for the report on how things went. Millicent West, director of the DC Homeland Security and Emergency Management Agency, thanks so much for the update tonight.
Thank you for having me here.